Hello and welcome to Mimiron 10 Man in Aldar. This is supposedly one of the hardest bosses in the place, if not the hardest. We spent quite a bit of time doing him last night. There's 4 phases to this boss. Phase 1 you see now, there's 4 abilities. One is Napalm Shell, random raid target. He'll do about 10k damage initially, followed up with a dot. You can heal through it pretty easily, but multiple people will have those dots at the same time because he'll apply them faster than they drop off. Make sure you top off those targets because we almost lost a mage. He got hit twice in a row within about 4 seconds, so you really have to keep an eye out for that. Second ability, you see him throw these mines out and the circumference around him about 10 yards out. It makes the next ability, the Shock Blast, a little bit tougher. It's a 5-second cast, a lot like Loken does an AoE blast around him for about 15 yards out, so it's not that far. You don't have to get too far away. Tank just picks him right back up when everyone runs back in. Be mindful of the mines, obviously. And Plasma Blast is the last ability. It'll target the tank. It does a lot of damage, probably more than Patchwork's Hateful Strikes. So healers really have to be on the ball, keeping the tank up for that. Like every time I saw the raid warning for Plasma Blast, I focused, healed the tank, tried to keep him as much as possible without letting any ranged that had dots died to those dots. So we only had 2 healers. It was pretty intense. It's not that bad for phase though. It's easily the simplest phase to get through. There's a lot of transition time between the 2 phases, or the 4 phases I should say, so healers in range get a lot of chance to get their mana back, which is great. This next phase is nothing but massive raid damage. There's no aggro, no threat, just random damage across the board. He also has 2 rockets on his back that will single target a member and fire off. He only fires 1 rocket at a time. For this phase, I kind of tilt my camera angle down a little bit so I can see the ground. The visual cue that you're being targeted by the rockets isn't as obvious as the swirling orbs from OS or KT, so everyone really has to pay attention to that. Call it out on vent if you see someone in your raid being targeted by the rockets. Don't assume that that they're paying attention. Especially if you're a healer, you're really focused on keeping everybody up and alive, especially if you're 2 healing it. He also does this ability where he shoots like these Gatling guns out straight in front of him, and he rotates slowly and covers about a third of the room, about a third of the circumference of the room. So if you're not near his starting point for that, don't worry about moving out of the way. He'll never get all the way around to you. Otherwise, just stay at his back, watch out for those rockets again. And the Gatling gun phase is really great for healers to catch up on healing because he's not doing the massive raid damage. Unfortunately for us, this is only a few days into a live server for 3.1, so there's a lot of bugs with this boss. He never did the Gatling gun thing, and raid heals, just healers had to be with it. You can't let anyone die there. Our prot paladin did die to a rocket. We battle rezzed him and buff him up real quick because we really need the second tank for this next phase, where you tank the head flying mount up in the air. We had our prot warrior tank it because he can spell reflect whatever it is the head shoots down at you. It's some magical effect. You just reflect it back at him. It helps for healing. You barely have to heal the warrior if he's doing that. Prot paladin's picking up all the adds. When the adds die, they drop an item that lets you pull the head down to the ground so melee can damage him. And he takes 50% more damage, so you really want to get on with that. Now the way we're positioning our raid here, we have our ranged kind of towards the screen here. We're at the opposite side of where the tank is tanking all the adds. We really don't want to get in there with the adds. And directly underneath the mount, up in the air, he drops these bombs down, so we really don't want anyone near those bombs. They're kind of like the ones that run around outside this place. When you get hit there, you'll know what that looks like. Those bombs will definitely kill someone, so we're having our DK chains to ice them as soon as they come down, just to slow them. You could probably root them in place or do whatever you want to CC them. This phase is really easy if you just have a lot of control. We set our loot rules to free for all so that anyone nearby that corpse could pick up the item to pull this guy down. Ideally, melee DPS, that way the tanks aren't running around, and obviously range isn't going to be anywhere near there. But this phase was a joke. I mean, we have so much control over those bombs. They're nowhere near anybody. Just make sure you, when you drop the item to pull the head down, make sure it's right after a bomb drops. We've had some earlier attempts where we just didn't time it that well, and he dropped the bomb right when we pulled the head down. Obviously, melee can't go in there, and we spent all the time blowing up the bomb, and he flies back up, and we wasted that opportunity to do more damage. So again, just pay attention to that. Raid healing is non-existent. You're just healing the tanks for this. The ad tank obviously takes a lot of damage. He's tanking probably 3 or 4 things at the same time. The warrior, like I said, really doesn't take a lot of damage. And that's this phase. It's pretty easy if you can control it. It's great. And our first attempts, since it's so early, we really weren't sure what we were doing, and those bombs were going all over the place. Ads weren't getting picked up that well. But if you follow what we did here, it should be really easy. And same goes for the first 2 phases. I mean, if you can avoid avoidable damage, I mean, we're 2 healing this. You don't need. It's not that hard of a fight. It's not harder than everyone made it out to be. I'd say the bugs with this encounter were the hardest thing about this encounter, and had nothing to do with the boss being difficult himself. It was just Blizzard, implementing something that shouldn't have been implemented yet. But you can't be perfect with an MMO, so giving them the benefit of the doubt here. Here's phase 4. 3 sections come back, and they do all their unique abilities all at the same time. So the tank, the bottom phase there, the little steam tank, does the mines, he does the Loken Blast. Melee's really gonna have to watch out for that. The mid section does everything. It's got the random raid targets. He does both missiles at the same time instead of just one missile, so everyone has to watch out for that, especially Melee. Call it on a raid. Again, don't assume everyone knows that they're being targeted by a rocket. You can't lose people to that. He does the Gatling gun phase, which you actually get to see here. Here's me dodging a rocket. The Gatling gun phase, which you get to see. We wiped a lot because of that. He wasn't spinning around properly when doing the Gatling gun. He was actually rotating frantically, and he'd end up wiping like half the raid with those Gatling guns because they weren't really predictable. You couldn't dodge them. You would just spin around and you'd be dead, so that's no good. Hopefully that gets fixed, or maybe we're just doing it completely wrong and we're clueless, I don't know. And you really just have to kill all 3 parts at the same time, kind of like doing Thaddeus, the 2 guys, Stalag and Fugan. You want to kill them at the same time. We actually didn't kill them at the same time, and as soon as you kill one, there's a timer, and if the other parts aren't dead by the time that timer expires, they reset to about 50% health, and you'll see that in this fight, because here's the timer now, and we didn't kill it in time. Deadly Boss Mods wasn't really working with the independent health, so we just had to yell out on vent what section was at what percent, and so it reset, which wasn't good. But again, don't give up. I mean, we can have a lot go wrong and still kill this guy. He's not as bad as everyone made him out to be. I died pretty soon, which was bad. I mean, not only did phase 4 reset, but we're also down to 1 healer during this event, and we still get him down. So never give up. Don't say, alright, wipe it up. See it through to the end. You might surprise yourself. I actually onked and died as soon as I onked, so don't ever rely on that for this phase, that's for sure. And I hope this helps. I'm not a tank, so tanks, sorry. I'm sure TankSpot will release a video soon enough for you to a more helpful guide. You really only see this from the point of view of a healer, I guess. And but it was a realm first for us,
and we're pretty excited about that because this isn't a guild run. It's actually just a group of people that have raided together before in Nax and Malagos and stuff like that. So we're familiar with each other, but depending on the night, we don't really know who we're going to be raiding with. It's kind of like an organized pug, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to have to cut about 30 seconds off the video because I want to keep it under 10 minutes. So I'm just going to cut out the repeat of phase 4 where we screwed up on the timer. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, learned a little something about the fight at least. It's not a PTR video, so it's a little bit more accurate to what you guys are going to be facing. And thanks for watching. I'll just let this play out.